Greetings, seekers of insight. Welcome to another enlightening chapter on Rift Valley Tube. I'm Suleiman Ali, your host. Grateful to have you with us on this journey. Before we dive into today's discourse, heartfelt thanks to all who've been part of our growing community. If you value the knowledge we share, hit that like button. Share with fellow African affairs enthusiasts. And if you haven't, subscribe to Rift Valley Tube. Your engagement fuels our commitment to unbiased analyses. Now, let's explore us policy on Africa, navigating neglect, missteps, and the Amhara conflict. Despite the global recognition of Africa's strategic importance, the U.S. has often failed to prioritize its engagement with the continent. This episode delves into the historical neglect and policy failures, including a derogatory comment by a U.S. president about African nations. Furthermore, it explores the intricate dynamics of the State Department's statement on the Amhara conflict, exposing the internal contradictions within the U.S. Stance: neglecting Africa's strategic significance. Africa's vast resources, emerging markets, and growing economies hold immense geopolitical significance. Yet, the U.S. has consistently underprioritized its engagement with the continent. This lack of consistent high-level engagement, investment, and diplomatic efforts has resulted in Africa being marginalized in U.S. foreign policy discussions. A president's derogatory remark. In 2018, President Donald Trump's offensive remarks referred to African nations as shitholes during an immigration discussion. This comment not only showcased a troubling attitude towards Africa, but also highlighted the U.S. disregard for the continent's strategic and economic importance. It further reinforced the perception that Africa was not a priority within U.S. policy. Failed policies and missed opportunities. Cold War era. The Cold War era saw U.S. engagement driven by anti-communist sentiment. This led to support for dictatorial regimes like Mobutu Sese Seko in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Siad Barre in Somalia. Regrettably, these policies failed to foster stability and development, resulting in long-lasting negative consequences. Somalia and Black Hawk Down. The U.S. intervention in Somalia during the early 1990s, epitomized by the infamous Black Hawk Down incident, illustrated the perils of intervention while a clear exit strategy. The absence of follow-up efforts contributed to Somalia's descent into a stateless condition and the rise of extremism. Rwanda genocide. The international community's inaction, including the U.S., during the Rwandan genocide of 1994, exposed a lack of commitment to preventing mass atrocities. The absence of intervention had catastrophic ramifications for the region. Lack of attention to disease and development. The U.S.'s response to the HIV AIDS crisis in Africa was sluggish, and funding for development assistance frequently fell short. This hindered efforts to address health crises and impede sustainable development. Misguided counterterrorism. The U.S. often prioritized counterterrorism efforts in Africa, driven by security concerns. Unfortunately, this focus sometimes overshadowed the significance of addressing underlying socioeconomic and governance issues that fuel instability. Libya and failed state. The U.S. intervention in Libya in 2011 contributed to destabilizing the country, leading to the emergence of a failed state. The lack of a comprehensive post-conflict stabilization plan had severe consequences for the region. Analyzing contradictions in the State Department's statement on Amhara conflict. A counterargument. The recent State Department statement addressing the continued implementation of the cessation of hostilities agreement and the call for a negotiated resolution to ongoing conflicts in the Amhara reflects the intricate and multifaceted nature of Ethiopia's Amhara region. However, within this statement, contradictions emerge that demand a counterargument. This article endeavors to provide a comprehensive analysis of these contradictions and to offer a counterargument that adeptly addresses the nuanced aspects of this complex situation. Contradiction 1. Implementation of the Cessation of Hostilities Agreement and Regional Dynamics. While the statement underscores the importance of the continued implementation of the Cessation of Hostilities Agreement, it regrettably sidesteps acknowledging the underlying dynamics and recent events that have ignited the conflict within the Amhara region. The secretive agreement struck between the Ethiopian government and Tigray People Liberation Front concerning Wolkite and Raya has sowed tensions among the Amhara people. Consequently, this has triggered a groundswell of popular unrest and prompted a subsequent military intervention by the Ethiopian government, characterized by the use of heavy weaponry. Counterargument 1. Necessity of a comprehensive conflict resolution approach. While the emphasis on the implementation of the Cessation of Hostilities Agreement is a commendable step, it is imperative to adopt a more inclusive approach to address the Amhara conflict holistically. The opacity surrounding certain agreements has exacerbated an already complex situation, fueling discontent among affected populations. Rather than merely advocating for a negotiated resolution, the U.S. should champion a transparent and all-encompassing dialogue that involves all stakeholders, particularly the Amhara people. This approach would foster an environment conducive to addressing grievances and facilitating a lasting solution. Contradiction 2. Although the statement highlights the necessity of a negotiated resolution to ongoing conflicts in the Amhara, it conveniently overlooks the Ethiopian government's imposition of a state of emergency and the involvement of the Ethiopian National Defense Force in escalating the conflict. Counterargument 2. Addressing root causes of the Ethiopian National Defense Force withdrawal to effectively quell the ongoing conflicts within the Amhara region. It is of paramount importance to identify and address the root causes that ignited the popular uprising and ensuing unrest. The imposition of a state of emergency by the Ethiopian government has regrettably exacerbated tensions, necessitating a more impactful approach. It is incumbent upon the U.S. to advocate for the Ethiopian government's cessation of the state of emergency, the strategic withdrawal of the Ethiopian National Defense Force from the region, and the initiation of a constructive and comprehensive dialogue involving all relevant parties. Broader regional implications. The complexities woven into the fabric of the Amhara region situation transcend geographical boundaries. The destabilization of Ethiopia possesses far-reaching implications for the broader Horn of Africa. Given the internal turmoil faced by Sudan and Somalia's struggle as a failing state, the U.S. to address the ramifications of the Amhara conflict on the entire region. Counterargument: advancing regional stability and cooperation. Given the fragility of neighboring nations and the imminent threat of regional destabilization, the U.S. must assume a proactive role in cultivating regional stability. Encouraging the Ethiopian government to establish transparent communication channels and engage in genuine conflict resolution is pivotal. The U.S. should vociferously underscore the significance of a Horn of Africa that remains stable and prosperous, necessitating the effective resolution of internal conflicts and grievances. At the end, while the State Department statement admirably navigates the complexities of the Amhara conflict in Ethiopia, Its internal contradictions underscore the necessity for a nuanced and comprehensive approach to conflict resolution. The U.S. must address the core triggers of the conflict, champion transparency, and meticulously contemplate the broader regional implications. Through such an approach, a resolution can be achieved that is enduring and sustainable, bringing benefit to all stakeholders involved. As we conclude today's exploration, heartfelt appreciation to each of you. If our insights resonate, show support by liking and sharing. To newcomers, your subscription matters. Remember, today's core is the State Department's Amhara conflict statement. Stay informed, engaged, and empowered as we bring you pivotal African affairs discussions. Until next time, this is Suleiman Ali, signing off from Rift Valley Tube.